I'm Sally, not with Alan. And this is Sal and Al the Wool Slayers, isolated edition 2. So we're in like week 7 of the quarantine, or self-isolation, and we're gonna try again to have a 2-part episode where I record and then she records and she smashes them together. It seemed pretty successful last time. I changed my orientation so that I am facing the window, which will help with my lighting issues. I was really disappointed in my quality last time. So hopefully this is better. Also, please be kind because I own the webcam. Like, the webcam is mine. It was a gift. But Alan is in possession of it. So her audio and video quality is going to be better. She has the really nice webcam. So be nice to me. Not that anyone wasn't nice, but cut me some slack because I am working off of a laptop camera, which are obviously not as good. So, that being said, guess who's back? Back again. Mojo's back. I am knitting. So I am finally A, knitting on something other than my scrap blanket, and B, actually actively picking up my knitting. Like, if I have spare time, I'm picking up my knitting, which for over a month was not the case. So that's exciting. I'm glad. I'm so glad. Because I have all this yarn and it's beautiful and I like playing with it, but I was not knitting with it. So I have one new project to show you. I have no sleighs, but I have trophies and I have a new cast on that I'm working on that I'm super excited about. I think I have everything over here. Other updates besides my knitting mojo being back. We're still enjoying our new house, working on furnishing it here in Dallas-Fort Worth. Technically, like, the state is starting to reopen, the state of Texas. I'm not sure I'm ready. I have become very comfortable with being stuck at home, sheltering in place, and I feel like I'm super scared of COVID-19. Sorry, had pneumonia last year, thought I was gonna die. I feel like if I caught COVID-19, I would die, and so would Nolan. So I'm super, like, overly cautious about it. So we're still sheltering in place. You know, I went to the grocery store for the essentials. I do grocery pickup, but then they always have something that they can't give you, so you end up having to go into a different store anyway. But so usually I'm in and out in like 5 minutes. So I feel pretty good about that, and I disinfect everything. You know, I disinfect my car handles and wear a mask and disinfect my hands and disinfect my phone and disinfect my credit card, everything. So, you know, we're hanging in there. My husband's still having to work, but he doesn't come in contact with very many people because he's just in a small office with like 2 other men for the most part. And because most of the employees of his company work outside. They're repairmen, so they are, repairmen's not the right word, but they're technicians that fix these really large machines that make drill bits and stuff. So they are not on site. So he really only sees like 2 people. So I feel pretty comfortable about that. Yeah, it's fine. Haven't been able to get my hair cut. It's so long. I was supposed to get it cut the weekend after everything closed down, or, you know, the week after everything closed down. So I haven't had my hair cut since January, and I don't mind the length, but oh my gosh, the ends are fried. It felt really good to bust out the curling iron today and like actually, because when you heat style, like, it seals down all those like flyaway dead ends. So that felt pretty. I feel pretty today, which is nice because I haven't felt pretty. I have on makeup, which I like natural, you know, I like not wearing makeup. I am gorgeous without it. However, it is nice I feel like I'm my old self today. Like I look like my old self today, which is nice. Like my pre-isolation self. So that feels good. I will confess I am wearing the pants I slept in though, like loose pajama pants. I just changed my shirt. Sorry. Not sorry. Baby steps. At least I'm putting on a nice shirt, or not a pajama shirt, not a t-shirt, like not a tank top that I've been wearing. And I did my hair and makeup, and I'm wearing earrings. I haven't worn earrings in at least 8 weeks because they were packed for the move, and then I haven't worn them since. So pretty exciting. So I wore my succulent, and they have little succulent plants on them. They're super fun. Crisis schooling. I'm not calling it homeschooling. I refuse. It's not the same as homeschooling. It is crisis schooling. It is not something, homeschoolers choose to homeschool. We did not choose to do this. This is crisis schooling. And it's going well. We have 2 weeks left. We're in this week and next week, and then we're done. So everyone's pretty excited about that. This week is Teacher Appreciation Week. I will be receiving nothing. No. But if you are able to drop a little note to your child's teacher that they are not seeing anymore, tell them how much you appreciate them. Don't expect anything from your kids though. You'll just be disappointed. Everything else is going good. We are, really enjoying our house and embracing our hobbies. We're all doing pretty well. There hasn't been a ton of fighting. Like last week, there was a day where it was done, but we got over that, and then ever since then, it's been really good. So, trying to enjoy quality time with my kids, and then I'm also enjoying the extra square footage of this house where we can all be apart for a little while in the afternoon. It's quite nice. So let's move on to the reason you're here. Knitting. I do not have any fails. I do not have any slays. So we'll talk about my whips. We'll just briefly talk about the boring ones because I've already talked about them. Working on cascarones, sock number 2, just a sock tube. I already finished the first one a long time ago and don't know where it is. Oh, fell down. So there's that. Cascarones yarn by Mustache. Love her. I put in a little more work on my scrap blanket. It's looking amazing. I'm thinking today I'm feeling very motivated to weave these ends in, which it's only like 2 rows of it. See, all this is all done. So I think maybe since I'm feeling motivated, maybe I should do that. But I did put in, I don't remember where I was last time, but I'm working on this row right here. This row of squares. Let me show it this way. And I just love it. It smells so good. It smells like Tuft Woolens soap, and it's just so happy and scrappy, and I've definitely refound my love of this blanket. Like for a long time it was kind of it was like a weight of this unfinished thing, and now I love it. I love that I always have something I can pick up and throw a square in. And I think it'll look so cool when I get it done. I'm like excited about it, which for at least a year I was not. So that's nice. I'm just having a better attitude about things. So yay. Okay, but for my new cast on, the one I'm super pumped about, the one that's giving me my mojo back, and I'm actually having to do more than just knit stockinette, is this. It's I bought the yarn for it in New York at Vogue Knit Live. Man, I'm so glad. Can we just talk about that for a second? I am so glad I went to Vogue Knit Live because I didn't get my DFW Fiber Fest. I'm not getting Camp Wool Slayers. You know, festivals are who knows when they're going to happen. I'm so glad. And New York is like totally closed. You know, and so I'm glad that I got to go and experience one of my favorite cities before all of this happened and really changed the world. So I'm so glad I went. I just feel like I would really be very sad if I hadn't gone to that, because the last festival would have been like East Texas Fiber Fest in November, which I worked. I didn't even really, you know, I mean, it was a blast. But I worked in Diane's booth, so I barely even shopped it. I mean, I managed to shop, but it was, you know, like maybe 30 minutes total. That would have been my last Fiber Festival for a while, so which was fun, would be fine. But I'm very glad I went to New York Vogue Knit Live. So I bought this yarn there. The yarn is, sorry for crinkles. Sorry. Lavender Loon. Lavender Loon Yarn Co. And this is Rear View Mirror. It's just pretty classic Sally. Like, it's a gray with these darker gray speckles. It's really blowing that out, but whatever. Watch the Vogue Knit Live recap episode if you want to see it in the skein. So, and the pattern, oh, and then my contrast color is, oh, did I lose the label? I might have lost the label. Oh no, there it is. Sorry, hold please. Indie Yarn Company. And this colorway is called Undercurrent. Bam, it's so pretty. It's like an emerald green. Oh my god. Look how pretty it looks. So this was a skein and a half for my main color, and that was just a normal 100 gram skein. So the pattern is an Amba O'Brien, which we love her, Columbina. I'm going to try to show you the picture since I have to edit this myself. And this would be one less thing I have to try to edit in. We'll see. Columbina. So it's a mosaic, and it makes this like harlequin pattern. It's mosaic knitting. And it makes it look like it's like woven. It's so cool. So I just started. I have done basically like this tail leading up, and I've just started the color work. Like, you won't even be able to see it probably. I'm on like row 5. Make sure I'm on the right side here. Okay, so there's my all main color garter stitch start here. Showing you the wrong side. Okay. Oh my gosh, I love it. Look at that. And then, so I've done like this much. Look at all that knitting. That's a lot for me lately for not being like a square or a sock. Okay, and so I've started the mosaic, which mosaic knitting is basically slip stitches. I mean, it's, you know, it's not color work, which I love. I would almost rather it be color work because I love Fair Isle and all that, holding yarn double and knitting with both hands. I love that, but it's not, which is fine. I knew that going in. But so it's basically slip stitches, and then it's going to make a super cool. I wish I had more to show you, but I just started this, I don't know, maybe Friday, and then I did have a few. So it has this I-cord edging, which I love an I-cord edging, but I got like here at one point, and one of my I-cord stitches I had dropped it on accident, and it had fallen really far before I realized it. So I was like, oh no. So I ripped back down to where it had fallen, and I put my needle back in, and then there was one on the other side, so I had to rip it out. I just was like, forget it. Like, forget it. So I ripped it the whole way out and had to restart. So I would be much farther if that hadn't happened. Now, it was only probably, it took me like maybe an hour to get back. You know, I lost an hour of work, big deal. But I would be a little bit further if that hadn't happened. But hey, we got nothing but time lately, right? So I was just like, oh, whatever. It was easier to just rip it out rather than try to fix that I-cord edging. I just was like, forget it. Plus, you know, if it had been further up, I would have tried harder to fix it, but it wasn't worth it. Sometimes it would take me longer to repair than to just rip it out and restart. But so there's my little green just starting to pop in there. So you can't even tell what it's going to be. But it's going to be these beautiful, there's like speckles, there's like spots of the green, and then the Harlequin, where it's more solid. So it's like a diamond pattern surrounded by like spots of color. So pretty excited about that. I did go up a needle size because the last Amba O'Brien pattern I tried was ended up ripping it out. Was using Suburban Stitcher Salted Caramel and Horseshoe. I can't remember what the shawl was called, but I ended up ripping it out. It was just turning out so small. So this time I just immediately went up a needle size, which, and then she even recommends going up a needle size for the mosaic part, but I didn't do that since I was already up a needle size. I think it'll be okay. And I'm just trying to stay really like loose and relaxed. So we'll see. For now, I'm loving, loving, loving this. This is Columbina by Amba O'Brien. And it's basically the only thing I've wanted to do for the last few days, which is really good. I did finish the puppy diamond painting for Nolan, and then I made a panda diamond painting for Amelia. But the panda was really fast, and once those were done, I did not get out a new diamond painting so that I wouldn't be tempted. And so I'm knitting instead of diamond painting. And I'll still diamond paint, but I need to get my mojo back. And I think it's working. Drop my yarn, so bear with. So yeah, I am really, really, really into this. And you guys look. Our friend Anomalous Mind on Etsy and Instagram had sent us these bags forever ago and sent these wood burned stitch markers, and look, this one has been attached to this bag this whole time. I had to pick it for this pattern, right? I love when stuff matches. Okay, so that's the only new project I've been working on, but I think it's a doozy and I'm super excited about it. And I'm just feeling really good about my knitting. I got to use my new winding station that I showed last time to wind my yarn, and everything just felt really good. So hopefully that continues, because I definitely needed like a win. So I did do some shopping. So I do have a few trophies to show. Oh, sorry, I should have unwrapped that one. Okay, so I ordered from my local yarn store, West 7th Wool. They, for the LYS Day, made kits for the Breathe Hope shawl. Breathe in Hope? Is that right? You guys know. I'll post a picture, hopefully. I shouldn't make too many promises about posting pictures since my editing skills are still being developed. So I ordered, this was a kit they had put together, and I have knit with this color before and gave away the object and instantly regretted it. So I was like, oh, it's meant to be. This is Cosmic Silver, Mad Tosh. Cosmic Silver. Oh, it's kind of blowing out the gray for some reason. And this is on, I think this is just like, Twist Light, which is 75% merino, 25% nylon. And it's just so pretty. It's just this gray with rainbow colors. Neon though, like neon green, purple, orange, yellow, red speckles. It's very, very pretty. And then to go with it, I love this color. I've definitely looked at it several times and have never bought it, so this was a good reason. Lepidoptera, and it is also Twist Light, and it is just the coolest purple because it's tonal. Let's see if we can get those tones. It's a very vibrant electric purple with like plum tonals. It's just so pretty, and I think matched with this, they did a really good job. We'll see if I make the actual shawl with it. But either way, love these colors. So we'll see what they eventually get made into. I would happily make them into the Breathe Hope shawl. I just, make no promises. So, oh, and then from them, this was in their clearance section, and I like kind of hate this yarn, but I'm not going to knit with it. My friend Libby has been making these really awesome wall hangings from her stash. I don't know that I have a way to show you. I'll ask her if I can post a picture. And I really just bought this for the texture because I want to make some sort of weaving or wall hanging with this. It's got all these textures. I mean, I would never knit with this. Like, it's borderline ugly. Sorry. But it's got these different textures running through it. Like, there's some like that. And then there's these ones with sparkle. And then, I don't know, just the overall fuzziness of it just appeals to me. I was thinking of mixing it with some other, maybe just scraps. Because I have tons of those. And making some sort of art for my knitting room out of this. So, we'll see. Again, I make no promises. I just was like, it's the right colors, and I don't know. I was a little bit drawn to it as a work of art. I don't know how anyone could stand knitting with this though. Not me. That would drive me nuts. Oh, I forgot I'll post a picture. So I ordered from By the Bay Yarn Co., which to me, she's By the Bay Bag Co., because I love her bags. I got her gorgeous turquoise mermaid color, and this is the giant size. Oh, I just love. I have the giant in pink as well, and it's just a great size, especially for a sweater or like a large, anything that's 3 or more skeins, or a 2 skein project and a sock, like use it as your purse. It's just a good bag. So there it is, me for scale. It has the awesome handle, the drawstring, and then it has 2, her sewing is so good. It has a square bottom and 2 pockets on the inside. And it's just the best. Such a good bag. Love this turquoise color. I don't know if it's showing up turquoise, but it's like for sure turquoise. It's kind of showing up a little dark. But again, Alan has my webcam. Give me grace. My colors are not going to look as good as hers. It's just so pretty. And then I also ordered 2 face masks from her. I sewed my own, and they sucked. Like, they just sucked. I didn't like the pattern I used. I liked hers much better with the loops around the ears. So I ordered 2 face masks, and then my kids have not left the house except to go play outside, or they've gone like to the drive-through pharmacy with me, but like they haven't gone in a store since mid-March. So they haven't needed a mask, but now this way we do have 4. They can use my crappy ones. They'd probably fit them better. They can use the ones I made if they need to go into a store. Like Nolan's birthday is coming up. He'll need to go for his well check. You know, we might have to mask up for that. So she made like those ones that I had made the pleated ones, and I am not a good seamstress, so they sucked. And so I am not good enough to make the kind that are like shaped to your face. And so hers did she's shaped around the nose, and they're really nice. So if you have to wear a mask, make it a cute one. So I bought one for me that has the cute knit print, and then a plain one for Mitch, and he really does like it too, especially since he's having to go to work. So in case anybody comes into his office, like if a delivery person, or because he's very one-on-one with like his FedEx guy and stuff, because he ships out a bunch of parts and supplies. So he's always having to talk to sales reps and FedEx and UPS and the mail. So that way he can, you know, try to protect himself and others with a nicer mask than the one that I had made out of scrap fabric that had baseballs on it. He was a little bit embarrassed by it, but Nolan will love it. So I did order that from Wendy at By the Bay. So I'll post a picture of my mask. So the only other trophy I have is from my sweet friend, and I did not unwrap this yet, sorry. My sweet friend who took me out for the nicest dinner in New York. I believe I talked about that, right? Oh, you know what's funny? So By the Bay is Wendy. This person is also Wendy, but it's Wendy at Amanda Hope Yarns. Or Amanda Hope Yarn. AmandaHopeYarn.com. She is just like the best. I love her. She has been so generous with me and with the podcast. So love her. And she posted an update, and I was like, uh-oh, I need some of that. And then she sent me, look, I got a cute little stitch marker with a fleur-de-lis. Okay, so, and this is kind of funny because this is similar but not the same as the rear view mirror that I'm knitting with, but this is newsprint, so it's obviously different, but it's the same kind of like gray aesthetic. So this one has more cream in it, so it's like a cream background, then with tones of very, very light gray to very dark gray. It's so pretty. Look at that. I have no clue what I'm going to make. No idea. I just loved it. And I got this luxury base. It's the Luxe Fingering. And it's 80% superwash, ultra fine merino. Ultra fine. 10% cashmere, 10% nylon. So just that 10% cashmere is just, I was like, you know what? Yes, please. I love this. Oh, it feels, I wish we had squish TV, because it's very satisfyingly squishy and soft. Then I had to get this color. It's so pretty. I like anything in millennial pink. Like, that's a whole thing. The millennial pink color is so good. So I went and just searched for this color and just bought whatever base I could find. You know, I just said, I don't care what base I get. I just want this color. So she did still have it in stock in her Aussie Extra Fine base, which is Australian Merino, spun in Italy. I guess it's just 100% Australian Merino. It is, oh, it says mucilage free. I don't know what that means. Tell me what that means. And it is super wash. 19.5 micron extra fine merino wool. So this is so soft and luxurious as well. It's not as, this is more like loosely spun and plump, whereas this is like a tighter spin, but it's still very soft and very squishy. I don't know if I'll even, I love these two together. I don't necessarily know if they will end up together. I love them separately. I love them together. I don't even care. I'm into it. Millennial Pink is, look at that shine. Oh my God. It looks like it has silk in it, but it doesn't. Oh my God. I am Millennial Pink. I don't even care. Love it, love it, love it. So, very happy that I jumped on her update. I have wanted her. I think this is the first yarn from her I've bought, even though like she's my surrogate mom. Like, what is happening? So if you haven't checked her out, please do. I usually buy almost everything from Suburban Stitcher. I didn't have any Suburban Stitcher trophies this time. Oh my gosh. It's a miracle. But I did have West 7th Wool and Amanda Hope yarn. And by the way, Bad Company, y'all. Not this weekend, but next weekend, the weekend of the like 17th, was supposed to be our retreat, Camp Wool Slayers. So if you're so inclined, if you have any of that stimulus money left, please consider supporting the vendors that were supposed to be at camp. Wanderluck Fibers, By the Bay, Bag Company, Mustache, and Panorama Fibers. I will probably be an emotional wreck that weekend because Alan and I just look forward to it so much, and we were very excited about the group of women we had coming, and yeah, I need to get past that date so I can properly grieve. It's fine. We're going to do it in 2021. It's fine. It's just a little bummer. I think that's it. Alan will probably have some freebies for you, hopefully. I don't have anything else. I've just really enjoyed having this excuse to put on some makeup, do my hair, tell my kids to leave me alone. And no, just kidding. I can't believe they haven't busted in on me, honestly. Like, this is a record. I've had like what, 33 minutes by myself. Wow. No one's asked me for anything. Wow. So hopefully I am able to edit this. Hopefully we are able to get it uploaded to YouTube for you guys. Just thank you for watching. Thank you for being sweet. Thank you for staying safe. We love you, and don't forget to slay.
Hi y'all, it's Alan. You just saw Sally. So I am Alan Loves Yarn on Ravelry, and Sally did all the other Wool Slayer contact info because she's our social media maven. Things are fine around here. They're good. Watch the bloopers because those boys, oh my God, they're awesome. But so anyway, let's get right into it. Usually we start with fails, and I actually have two fails. So my first fail is that I recorded yesterday, and I had set out, like, today's Wednesday, so Monday I got up, got dressed, put makeup on, and was going to record. Didn't happen. Tuesday, got up, got dressed, put makeup on, was going to record. It got to be 6 o'clock at night, and the boys went out of the house. I'm like, oh my gosh, I've got an hour. I can do this. So I just scrambled, and I got it done. And I knew at 7 I wanted to watch join the Dallas Hand Knitters Guild, because they had a class on something that was really cool, and I'll talk about that later. But I'm like, okay, I've got an hour. So it took me 30 minutes to gather everything and get set up. And then the light was kind of terrible. And he's just going to stand there and stare at me. Okay. So the light was kind of bad. So I'm messing with the lights, trying to get to be better. And so it got to be 6:30, and I just finally was like, okay, I'm just doing it. So then I felt really rushed because I wanted, I was trying to get it done so I could get on that class from Dallas Hand Knitters Guild. And I just, so like it kind of bugged me all night long thinking about it. I didn't even watch it yet, but I was like, I gotta redo it. I felt weird while I was talking, like it just was no good. So I didn't even watch it. I deleted it and decided I'm gonna redo it today. Well, now it's 4 o'clock. I mean, every day. My hair's still wet, but I'm like, I gotta do it. I just have to do it. So that's my first fail, is that I recorded this yesterday, and I've actually never recorded a second one. And like Sally and I have had scares before where we thought we didn't, oh my gosh, it's really nice today, so I have the windows open and somebody's mowing their yard. It's like the universe does not want me to record. Okay. I think it's going to be okay. I'm sorry if it's super loud, but I just have to do it. So anyway, where was I? Oh, but because it delayed, I got to take that class last night, which was so cool, and I can't wait to share that with you. And then I got to, I made more progress on a project. So that was my first fail. My second fail is an actual knitting fail. I started working on the willow work cowl, and it's a freebie, and I still really like the pattern. I just didn't do well with the yarn. I didn't choose well with the yarn. So it's stranded color work, and it also uses cables. It's essentially one stitch cables. So the problem is right here. So it's kind of stretching because I took the needles off already. But if it was flat, like it would be for the cowl, in here, like right in there are there's colorwork stitches. When I stretch it, you can see the colorwork stitches, but it's not going to be stretched. It's going to be like that. And the problem is that the yarn I chose is 2 different weights. The gray, the background color gray, is just a little bit fatter than the blue. And the gray is also it's a single ply. And the blue is twisted and it has plies to it. I love the colors together. It's really just that color work isn't showing. So I could do something else with them where they get to work together but not color work. The yarn is Araucania Nature Wool. There it is. And it's not super, I mean, it's not super soft, but it's not super rustic either. And I did actually make a hat for my brother out of it. And I loved the way it turned out. I made Joji Locatelli's Rafa's hat. It was a free pattern she put out. I think it might have been free for like a day. And I might have paid for it. I can't remember. I'm sorry. But it was really great for that. So it's a worsted weight. And this comes out as a heavy worsted. So I thought, oh, it'll be fine. Well, no, it wasn't. So I'll find something else to do with those. But I'm not going to try. I mean, the pattern is great. I do really like the pattern. And you probably have seen pictures by now. But, or will right now while I'm talking. But and it's a free pattern. But it isn't, like, I don't have this burning desire to make it. I think I just found it as a really good combination to use these 2 yarns together. So I'm just going to let it go. If it's meant to be, it's meant to be, and it'll come back. It'll happen. So that's my only fail. Well, 2 fails. So then I have sleighs. I have some great sleighs to talk about. So, first, I'm going to talk about my mom's sleighs because I have two of her projects and they turned out really great. And so I asked her if I could show them, and she, of course, was very flattered and excited. So the first one is the Midtown cowl, and this is one that Sally made as a shop sample for Suburban Stitcher. And she used the slub yarn held double and mohair. And I can't remember if the mohair is held double or not because I didn't actually do this one. But I think it might be. I don't know. I can't remember. But it's a free pattern. So what my mom did was she looked in her leftovers and, small amounts of yarn, and she made this cowl. And so this is actually Suburban Stitcher yarn here. Yes. It's Suburban Stitcher. She held it double. I don't remember the name of it, the colorway. It's brown. I'm sorry. Then she used a mohair here, and I'm pretty sure she held it single because, she held it single. It's a thicker mohair. Like the core that the mohair is wrapped with is thicker than, say, Kid Silk's. It's definitely not a lace weight. And I'm pretty sure that the Midtown calls for a lace weight held double. So I told her to use just this single, but you use the same needle size throughout. And so that's what the first one is. Then this one here is Noro Silk Garden, and that's a worsted weight. And sometimes, because it's not a uniform thickness, sometimes it goes to an Aran, but mostly worsted. So she did not double this one. This one is just used once, but again, the same needle size. And then coming down, and then she finished that. It was like a tiny 25-gram ball, or maybe it was a tiny 25-gram ball. So then she started using this yarn, which has I think it has some alpaca in it, and so it is pretty fuzzy. So, and then kept with the alternating of the brown and white, but used a different mohair. And this is a fingering weight, and she held it single to just, kind of keep it as the same look as this mohair here. So that's her cowl, and it looks so good on. There we go. It has just this little bit of orange. And I mean, Sally's did the same thing. It just immediately fell and landed the right way. Like, it just feels cozy. It's enough on your neck. And you get to see all the stripes, and there's just this blip of orange from the one mohair she did. And so if you didn't want that, you could fold it in so it wasn't showing. But yeah, it's a great cowl. It's a great pattern, and it's free. So it kind of makes me want to go find some, you can do Sally used the same colorway all throughout, the mohair and the slub. And this is just kind of all random, and I love it. I love it, love it, love it. It looks very different from Sally's, and it's a great pattern. So I was really, really impressed, and my mom put them all together. It was wonderful. Her next sleigh, no, guys, this is huge, is Solaris, and it is by Melanie Berg, Solaris shawl. And it starts here, and has, little short row sections with color, and finishes with this great edging. And look at this. Let me see if I can get it now that it's focused. Look at that stitch. Look at that pink stitch, how it does that. It takes like 8 stitches into one yarn over, and they all just lay so nicely. I think that stitch is the coolest, and I don't know what it's called, but it is so cute. Let me see. I'll stand up. I mean, I just would wear it. Don't know why I'm still holding my phone. Just wear it draped like that and have the right sides out, of course. But I love it. It's super cute, and the colors worked out wonderfully. And I will say, so Melanie Berg is the same designer that made On the Spice Market, and I had trouble with On the Spice Market because the way that she writes her patterns, it's like she says, here's section 1, here's section 2, section 3, and then the instructions are do section 1 5 times and section 3 2 times, and then the next time do section 4 6 times and section 2 2 times. It's just really confusing to go back and forth. So what I did for my mom was I took the pattern and I literally copied and pasted what it said to do. So if it said do 3 repeats of section 2, I would copy section 2 and paste it 3 times in a row. I didn't change row numbers or anything like that, but she doesn't really have row numbers on there. I turned it from a 3-page pattern to an 18-page pattern. So I understand why she would write it that way, but it just, I mean, it was a lot, and so it just kept confusing my mom about where she was and what she needed to be doing next. And once she had it all out, copied and pasted into this giant document, she said it was super easy. She just marked off each line and went and did it. So it wasn't that the pattern was confusing. It was just, and like the techniques aren't hard. It just was a lot to go back and forth. So that was good. I was glad I could help her with that. Okay, so now I have a sleigh of mine. Which should I show first? I'm going to show the hat first. And I'm not going to put it on because my hair's wet. But I made, it's not really a free hat because it's a bonus hat. Let's call it that. It is a bonus pattern from, I made the Roses That Grow from Concrete shawl by Mara LaCole. And it uses DK weight yarn, but you end up having a lot of leftovers of one color. And so almost half a skein. And so she gives you a hat pattern to use with your leftovers. And the hat pattern is called Roses from Concrete. And I didn't use my leftovers, but because I had the hat pattern and I had some DK, I'm like, I'm just going to make it. And I wanted some dark knitting. And so that's what this is. And it just has your cast on is a different color, is a contrast color, and then the hat just grows from there. And it took no time whatsoever. I love this yarn. I love how, to me, it looks like Monet's water lilies. It looks like an impressionist painting, the colors in it. And it did do some pooling, which I was surprised because I thought it was so random that it wouldn't be able to pool, but you can see the pink kind of swirling around, but that didn't bother me at all. I think it's great. So I'm pretty happy with it. Now the yarn I used, I didn't tell you the yarn in the Solaris. I'll come back to it. So the yarn I used is from Lone Star Arts. I bought it at East Texas Fiber Festival, and it was kind of like a lost skein. I mean, it wasn't a lost skein, but it was in a basket that she had to the side, and it was like one-off kind of skeins. They were like she had one of that colorway. And the colorway is Funfetti. And as you can see there, I used 52 grams because I've already weighed what I have left. And this is what it was in the ball, but I will reskein it on my Nitty Naughty and put it back, put the rest in my stash. I mean, it's still 50 grams of DK. Then my cast on was in this color. and it's Road to China Lights, and I had 50 grams. It used barely over 2 grams, like not even 2.5 grams. And the colorway is Rhodolite. And I just had it in my stash, and it was the perfect color to go with this. Perfect color. But it calls for DK, and this is a sport. So it's not too far apart. But so the only concession I made was that I increased the number of cast-on stitches by 10. And then when I did the first round with the main color yarn, I decreased it back to what it was supposed to be. I can't tell the difference in the way it looks. I don't feel like there's any ruffling or anything. And I didn't, that way I'm not worried about it being too small at the cast on and then not fitting. So, but I'm very, very happy with this hat. I'm not putting a palm or anything on it. Okay, because I forgot the yarn for the Solaris. Here's the yarn for Solaris. The gray is Manos de Uruguay Alegria in their gray colorway. I forget what they call it, but it is, I've used it in several projects. I pick it up. If I ever see it on sale, I snatch it up and I buy all of it because it is such a great yarn. Alegria alone, just that yarn is great. And then this gray is a really good basic gray. Then the red, orange, and green are from Leading Men Fiber Arts. And there's a lot of the red. So the red, orange, and green are Leading Men Fiber Arts, and my mom got that at East Texas Fiber Festival from them. And she knew she needed 5 colors, but there weren't 2 other colors that she liked in the minis that would go with those 3. So the blue, the turquoise was in her stash, and that's Northbound Knitting, and in the Oceana colorway. And then this pink, oh my gosh. This is now like the 5th project this pink has been used in. It's lace weight. It's Inzula Wash My Lace. And I swear I've used it it's been in 5 different projects, and there's still a little bit left. So she doubled the lace weight to make it fingering weight. And actually, I had already doubled it for the last project I used it in, and so the ball was already wound with it doubled. So I have this tiny amount left, and it's going in my sock cowl, my sock tube cowl, and it will finally be out of this house. And I love it. I shouldn't say that I'm dying to get rid of it. I'll probably end up buying more because I've used it in so much, but that skein will finally be finished. So now, to my final sleigh, and it is a big one. I have my Speltas shawl. So I started knitting on it down here. So my Speltas shawl. What was my roadblock was once it was finished knitting was figuring out the tassels because there's so many colors. So let me show you all the colors and then I'll explain the tassels. So I can kind of see through it, which is kind of great. It's garter, and it really, really grew once I blocked it, which is nice, but it didn't grow widthwise. It grew lengthwise. Widthwise, it's still really just a scarf. It kind of makes me think of like a long Doctor Who type scarf. And with crazy colors. So I started down, so the tassels, the reason I struggled was because the way the pattern's written, you would use 7 grams of 10 gram minis in your project, and then you would just use all those leftover 3 grams in your tassels. But since I kind of made up my own, some were full skeins, some were all leftovers. So I didn't really have that to drive how I would do the tassels. So I got my mother's help because she's great with color. And what we decided was that we would do tassels just with the 2 colors at the point of where it was going to be attached. So this has the cream color and this turquoise, it's limeade from Western Sky Knits. And so I did the tassel out of that. And then the middle tassel, it is different yarn than this because this was a full skein and I already put it away. I had these leftovers in small amounts that I could just use up. And it looks different. Like this looks red and yellow on screen and this has a lot more pink in it. In person, this looks just fine. Like it doesn't look red. So that's what we did for that one point. And then this point has the royal blue with the Madeline Tosh Jade, which is kind of a cream with, I call it money color. It's the color of money with the green of money. And so I had very little of the blue left. So I used some in the middle, a little bit in the middle, and then a little bit on the outside. And I love how it turned out. It looks great. And then on the other side, the way the wedges go together, it didn't, see, I've got two here that are orange. So I didn't want to do two orange and then one of this green speckle. So I also incorporated this green color. And all three of these colors are actually from my Shisui shrug. So I knew they'd do well together. But so I tried to make the, focus there. I tried to make the dominant color on the outside the one of each of these yarns. So this one is more dominant speckled. This has more orange, which, I mean, it doesn't have that much more orange because this orange is a lot, but it does have more orange. And then this one is more of this green color here. So those three hang together on this side. Where'd they go? There they go. Those three. So let me put it on. And I like how it wears. And I'm going to have to stand up so you can see it, so you can see the tassels. Because what's nice about how it grew lengthwise is that it can be up on my neck. Like I could do it tight and wrap it around a bunch of times if I want. But I can also have it loose on my neck like this. And then the tassels, what I like is they're at all different lengths. So they're not, right at boob length. And they're all over. It's great. And it's like I've got all these tassels. I love them. I love these big fat tassels. So anyway, I'm very, very happy with the Sveltas. It was fun. It's a fun knit. I was ready for it to be over when it was over, but each section went really quickly. So it's a great way to use up leftovers, for sure. I could even see myself making another one. So, and that's rare for me. I rarely make two of the same thing. It's a little too warm for me to wear this today. So I'm going to take it off. And that is it for sleighs. Now I do have some whips to crack. In fact, I have not done much on my sock tube cowl because I was out of yarn. I got a little bit from the Speltus, so I've got another little ball that I can add to it. But it really is my true dark knitting, and it's also very portable, so I try to save it for that. I have the Terrell Dago, and I did make progress on it, but not enough for you to really see. I am almost to halfway on the lace section. I was like 30 rows last time, and now I'm closer to 45. I'm probably at 42. So that's what I'm saying. Like I've made progress, but not enough to really show. And then I haven't touched my scrap blanket at all. I know. And I'd really, really like to get that. I would love to get that taken care of. Because I just feel like I'm at the stage where I could be finished. I mean, there's still so much to do, but I'm finished with the color part. I'm on gray, all gray. So, and y'all know I like color. So it's not so exciting. Okay, but my whip that I actually was working on a lot over the last 2 weeks is I cast on, after I did the fail of the fawnberry. Yeah, fawnberry. No. Sorry, fawnberry is the one I'm making. The willowwork is the one that was a fail. Fawnberry is this one that I'm making. And it is a paid pattern, but it's worsted weight. And I've had it in my queue for a long time without it being paired with yarn. Like I had to go into my stash and look at my worsted weight yarns and see what I could put together. And so the original is white and orange, and you've probably seen pictures. So I knew I wanted it to be like high contrast like that. And I had a cream color that is Barocco Ultra Alpaca. And I have had it for a while in my stash, and I had a full skein and then a little bit. And I was like, okay, that'll be enough. I'm about to play yarn chicken. And then my contrast color is Noro Silk Garden. It does use lots of needle. Well, it only uses 2 sizes. So it's Noro Silk Garden in color 25. Noro. 251 is the colorway. And I used barely into the second one. And I thought I was going to need to pull out some of the second one to get to the right point in the colorway to have it kind of continue on. But I didn't. It changed somewhere in here, and it was so close to the same color that I was using that I went ahead and just spit spliced it and kept going. So I have almost a full skein of the Noro left, which is fine. But I was hoping to use it up because it's been in my stash a really, really long time. So here it is, Fawnberry. I did also, this is what's left of the little bit. I used the full skein and spit spliced it somewhere in here above this pearl line. So really close. I did, because I had the 2 separate skeins, I did use the 2 separate skeins to cast on, long tail cast on with 2 separate balls so that I didn't have to, try to estimate. So that's why I have a ton of ends at the beginning. It does have a folded hem, which is nice because then, it'll stay flat. And it has a little bit of lace work here, then a little bit of color work, and it's simple color work. Like once you do one round of the color work, then you can just figure out the rest. You don't have to keep looking at the chart. And actually, it's not charted, sorry, but the instructions are simple enough that you don't need the chart. Then you've got a little bit of texture here, then some color work. And I will say that this is where Ravelry really helped me out, because this section here, it's just 1 by 1 color going around. It's not brioche. And I had looked at other projects because I wanted to see if other people had done projects in a gradient or in multiple colors to see how it looked before I used it. Again, love Ravelry. I love the people that put information on Ravelry, that put their projects on there. It's the best crowdsourcing ever. So, but what I did notice was in people's projects that a lot of their color work shrunk in here. Like they did it tight, even though it was 1 by 1 and you would never have to do floats or anything. So I paid attention and kind of did it pretty loose, but I think it'll be fine. I don't think anything will show through. Then this is the same texture as here, and this is the same as here, but in reverse, those two. And then this is a new texture, and I'm pretty sure I screwed it up, but I couldn't figure out where, and I didn't feel like taking it back, and it looks fine. So I'm gonna leave it at that. And then now I'm in the folded hem on top. So I am supposed to go around one more time and then fold it over and whip stitch it closed. And I know I would not have enough to go around again and whip stitch. And I thought, well, it's going to be on the inside. I could use anything, but I don't want it to show through when I whip stitch. So I'm going to just stop now and maybe whip stitch closed a row higher, like instead of doing it right where I started the stockinette down here, do it one above, wherever it seems to land naturally when it's folded over. I'm not super excited about whip stitching, and I feel like there's got to be another way to do it, but I haven't researched it yet. I'm gonna ask Erin, famous Erin, because she has done, she just finished a cardigan that had a folded hem on the bottom and folded cuffs. So I'm gonna see if she had to whip stitch. Erin, you want to comment? So anyway, that's the fawn berry. And I'm really excited with how the colors turned out because Noro, you just never know what their color repeats are going to be. And even though I wound up the ball from their ball, because it's always fallen apart, I don't know, I just never knew. So I'm excited that how well it's turning out. And when I recorded yesterday, I had just started that texture section. So that's another bonus to my fail of not recording very well yesterday. Okay, that's it for whip cracking. How long have I been talking? Oh my gosh, 36 minutes and it's just me. Okay, trophies. Okay, I do have some trophies, and mine are kind of similar to Sally's from last week. I also shopped Mustache on the day that she did a live Instagram from DFW, or because it would have been DFW Fiberfest. So I have 3 skeins that are so gorgeous. Okay, we kind of all flipped over Tokyo Go-Go, and it is such a great navy background. It looks more gray here, like a charcoal gray, but it really is a navy. And it's a tonal navy. Like, I'm eager to see it knit up. I don't know what I'm going to knit with it. And there probably are projects already knit on Ravelry. But the navy background with these bright colors, just love it. I don't know what I'm going to make. Then I bought Mordor Fun Run, which I don't know how I've avoided this one in the past. It is such a fun rainbow, but has more purples than the other colors. It's just gorgeous. So I don't know, I kind of want to do a sock arm sweater, but I don't know what I don't know. I wouldn't do it with the Mordor Fun Run with the skinny stripes, because I don't think that the skinny stripe would make it all the way around my arm, but these would. So I don't know. I haven't pulled the plug on a sock arm sweater yet. And then finally, I fell in love with her camp knit along. So this is Denali, and it is blues and purples and greens and just gorgeous. Oh my gosh, I love it. And again, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I have a friend, Tiffany, who is gonna make a sock arm sweater out of this, and she sent Mustache dyed up a purple for her to make it with. It was nice. It's a nice purple. She hasn't started it yet, or else I'd put a picture in here. But it looks really good together. But I think maybe, I don't know, I think I like navy. So maybe something with navy. And I don't know, I could do navy with this. It's got those blues in there. It does have like a navy stripe to it. So, I don't know. That might be a sock arm sweater. I don't know. But I did get a patch. Even though I didn't get the full kit, she sent a patch for her for the club. So, I'm excited about that. I'll put it on something. So, that is it for trophies. Which I think that's pretty good that I only have three skeins of yarn. If it had been if Fiberfest had happened, I would have had a lot more. And Fiberfest is coming back, and I will get to shop in person again soon enough. I'm trekking through some yarn while I wait, because I kind of have a yarn store in my house. That's why we save up our stash, so that we can make it through a quarantine. Sorry. So, hang in there a second while I pull up Weeby Freebies. Oh, wait, no, first, I need to talk about the technique that I learned at Dallas Hand Knitters Guild, because that's going to drive what my Weeby Freebies are. So, I learned last night, because they did a Zoom meeting, and I kind of love it, because I've been a member for over a year now, but I never get to go to the meetings because they were always the same night as my youngest son's scout meetings for Cub Scouts. And I was the committee chair, so I kind of had to be there. So, because of quarantine, A, we don't have scout meetings anymore. B, they're doing the Dallas Hand Knitters Guild meetings on Zoom, so I can attend from my house. So I love it. And if anybody is not local and they want to join Dallas Hand Knitters Guild, I think that they're going to keep doing the Zoom meetings even when they can meet in person again. And I might do that because childcare might be difficult for me on those nights. So anyway, that's my thing. So I'm excited about the Zoom. Anyway, what I learned was ladder back jacquard or invisible stranding. And it is a way to catch your floats in stranded knitting. And I'm going to tell you who our teacher was, Sarah Walworth. And she is a tech knitter, or a tech editor for Knitting Patterns. And I think she's local to Dallas. But she is such a great instructor, and so I don't know if she teaches classes normally. I don't know if she's a member of the guild, and so she was sharing this technique that she knows. But so ladder back jacquard or invisible stranding is a way to catch your floats in stranded knitting when you have a long repeat and you would normally, or a long space where you would normally have to catch your float, but you don't, and it never shows in the front, because essentially you're doing double knitting, but you're doing double knitting on one column. It is so cool. It is not a difficult technique. I have a feeling that once I do a project, I'll have it down, and I will not ever do stranded knitting without it. The other benefit to it is that it adds stretch to your knitting. So that's one of the problems with stranded knitting, is that you can, sorry, I'm trying to do two things at one time. Tell you about this and pull up Weeby Freebies. I should just focus. Let me focus. So it adds, when you have stranded knitting in your yoke can be tight, or it just doesn't, because you're doing one line of a yarn, that yarn doesn't stretch. Whereas when you're doing knitting, it does this, and so it can stretch. So that strand keeps it from stretching, and that's why you have to be kind of looser with your stranded knitting, but you don't want to be so loose so that it's kind of falling apart. So that's where tension becomes a problem, that people have to work at and pay attention. Well, using the ladder back jacquard means that you have a stitch in there now, so that gives you some space to have tension. It gives you that extra length of yarn. It is game changing. I'm so excited. So you can do color work in your cuffs. You could do it in the hat brim. Anywhere that needs stretch, you can use this technique and still do your color work. So cool. So Weeby Freebies. So what I did was I looked up Weeby Freebies that were stranded knitting, but also had long spaces between the repeats, so that I could do a pattern that I could use this technique on, because I want to practice it, because I didn't practice anything last night. She just lectured and had a handout and some videos. So she explained it really well, but I know me, I need to do it to learn it, to really get it in my head. and I need to do it a couple of times, not too far apart. Like I can't do a hat here and then a year later do another hat. I'll forget it in between. So Weeby freebies. The first one is ladderback jack hat. Now this hat actually has the instructions for the technique in the pattern. So I haven't looked at the pattern, but this was one that she gave us last night. That was one that would be good for going to practice because it has the instructions. And it's free. At the end of Weeby Freebies, I'll tell you 2 other patterns that are not free, but she also recommended that have the instructions for it. And there's lots of YouTube videos, I'm sure. I haven't looked it up yet. So then, sorry, I didn't actually pull up the right Weeby Freebies. I've done this before, just usually with Sally. Then there is wrist warmer Kaino, Kaino. It is, I don't think anybody's made it. So again, would be a good time to try something and try a new designer. But they're really cute wrist warmers. I feel like in the picture, the gauge looks really loose, and it would be better if it had, like if you could use the ladderback jacquard, you might be able to get your gauge to be not as loose and, still have that stretch to it. Camilla neck warmer. It is, I actually had to go into the projects because all of the pattern pictures were scrunched up, so I couldn't see what the actual pattern was. So there's one here that has the, somebody else's project, but I love the different patterns that you can use. Okay, these socks are bananas. It's so cute. I am not going to make socks with it, but I would totally make arm warmers out of this. I think it is adorable. All those little bananas. They're precious. Just precious. Subalpine prance. And this only has a few of the sections that would need the ladderback jacquard, and you don't have to do the ladderback jacquard except in the areas that you need it. So only if you need to catch a float would you use it. So anyway, look up the technique. It's so great. And then finally, carnival hat. And this, you would definitely need to catch a float between those points. All the spaces between it, there's lots of space. So this would be an excellent use for it, because I have done similar hats, and what ends up happening is that chevron area is just super tight, and it doesn't look as good when you put the hat on and it starts, and you have, and it wants to stretch and it can't. So the other 2 that I want to tell you about that are paid patterns, but were also recommended as having good instruction on how to do ladderback jacquard or invisible straining. Same thing, 2 different names. One is It's Not About the Hat, which is because it's about the technique. So the hat is cute. It is cute, but she gives you a lot of information about how to do ladderback jacquard. Then finally, the one that I just think is adorable is Harmony Hat. And that hat is also a paid pattern, but it has the instructions in it. And our instructor last night used it in her example. I think it's one that she tech edited. And so it was fun to see her working on it and the progression and using that technique. So that is Weeby Freebies. Oh my gosh, I've talked for so long, almost an hour by myself. Okay, y'all have a great 2 weeks, and maybe Sally and I will be back together next time. We'll see. We don't know. We don't know what the world will bring, but we are making it along, and we're having fun with our knitting, and it feels good to be back podcasting. So I will see y'all next time, and don't forget to slay.
potato. Wait, are you recording?
It is recording, but it's not live.
We beat Mom at Monopoly because you're so good.
Yeah, because they gang up on me.
Okay.
These sweet boys. Oh, they're wonderful. Okay, so. That's what
Daisy.
you're being Daisy. I know.
I'm
Daisy
Daisy.
usually sits beside me and snores. Instead, Zane's gonna sit beside me and snore. You're gonna lay on the floor and snore. He's so funny. He is. So funny. Okay, you. I gotta get started.
I'm being Daisy. What
I know.
else do you want me to be?
But we would kick Daisy out if she was making that much noise.
You need to put this in like the bloopers.
Yeah, it's totally going to the bloopers. Okay, guys, I'm starting.
No, wait, Kate. Whatever you want to.
Oh my God, I'm never gonna get to start.
You're never gonna get this started, Mom.
I'm not. Can you close those? A couple of those for me, please.
Night. Wait, where's my iPad?
That's good. One more. No, leave one open.
That looks like some good lighting.
Yeah, that's good.
That's some professional lighting right there.
That's some great
And
lighting.
it's natural.
It is.
If you could move the camera.
Thank you, baby.
You're welcome.
The best bloopers. Okay, guys, I'm gonna be quiet now. Or y'all need to be quiet now because I'm gonna be talking. No. Hoverboard that beeps all the time. Go. This is even boring for people who are watching.
Well,
It's boring for me, so stop.
That's because it's not going to be in the bloopers.
It doesn't matter. It's still boring in the bloopers, right? Okay, for the millionth time. Y'all be quiet. Oh, turn it down, Cade.
I'm following. Hold on, I plug in this. And then I have to. I'm not.
Okay. It is finally quiet. I'm finally going to start.